for that.
Alrighty, what's up guys? It's the Web Novel Wiz, and today, yeah, we got another novel recommendations episode. I know it's been a sec, but my last video got taken down for copyright issues because I didn't properly source some stuff. But now we're back, re-uploading episode 11, so that'll be interesting. I decided to mix up some of the novels because I wasn't entirely happy with the selection that I had. So today we're going to try something a little bit different. You guys can let me know what you think about it in the comments. But we're going to go a little bit into Amazon books, ebooks to be specific. And while I know some people have questions about whether or not, you can read a lot of the novels on Amazon, if you do have Kindle Unlimited, pretty much all the novels that I'll recommend for Amazon are free to read. So we're going to start this off with Legend of the Arch Magus. And I guess the synopsis is this like all-powerful Archmagus dies, only to find himself in the body of a young man in a medieval kingdom. He's the second son of a duke, and he's exiled to a desolate town by his family. And it's pretty much kingdom building paired with, OPness is the best way to explain it, right? Because, the main character does ramp up his own abilities and expand his talent pool and all that kind of crazy stuff all on his own. But it's paired really nicely with the actual plot and the setting for the story itself, because you'll have him, he starts off in this small place called, I think it's Blackwater, little Blackwater town, and then he builds up the industry for the town. He basically creates the layout. He has a couple of epic battles, that kind of stuff. He has a relationship with the king, and he has all this extra knowledge, which enables him to really influence a lot of the more important aspects, because he essentially wakes up a couple thousand years or something like that later, post his death, right? And he was pretty godlike when he was alive, but a lot of information and knowledge has been lost since he's passed. So he has access to a lot of things that they just don't have in this current time period. And I really, really like this novel. I mean, I've followed the author on Patreon, and I pretty much read every chapter he's released so far, and it's a great novel. I really think you guys should read this one if you can. Once again, it is an Amazon ebook, but it's fantastic. If you like it, you'll love it, right? And back to our stereotypical stuff. Web novel recommendations. For our first one, it's going to be Darius Supreme. And this is one I recommended in the episode that got taken down, but Darius Supreme is essentially about this multi-billionaire genius, pretty gray on the moral scale type MC, and essentially he gets reincarnated by this goddess in another world, and he has a system. And yeah, it's the world of Faust, right? If that gives you any hints about what kind of world it is. And I mean, the goddess only reincarnates him just to entertain her, essentially, right? So he ends up he's almost got like a game-like system where he levels his abilities, and a lot of the abilities he gains aren't really typical for certain different levels within the traditional cultivation slash, magic gathering sense. So he sometimes is perceived as more powerful than he actually is. While he is very OP, and um, I wouldn't say that as of his abilities are, he's some sort of like god on earth and that he just destroys everything. I mean, he has a very clear progression set out for him. The only really OP aspect I'd think about this character is the fact that he's really unscrupulous and really conniving, and he schemes, right? So he's very methodical in the way he plans out certain actions and how he associates with people and people's perspectives on him and how he manipulates those perspectives to suit his own goals. And he's just a really well thought out character. He is a villainous protagonist, so if you like that kind of story, then I really recommend this novel for you. It's pretty similar to Warlock of the Mage's World um, in terms of like evilness aspect, but yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I really think you guys should read it and give it a shot. And our last novel. I know we only got three of them, but I haven't been able to read too much because I've been pretty bogged down with work. But our last novel is Death in Me by Sui Yan. And I really like Death in Me. I read this novel a while back, and I've been thinking about recommending it for a while. I've just been kind of off and on about it. And my main reason for that is because it's kind of like a dual MC novel, if that makes sense. I mean, given the title is Death and Me. So you have your main character who had something special with his soul, and then you have essentially a Shinigami or a Reaper or an incarnation of death. And they have this weird play out where these two somehow get tied together after, the MC dies, and they get reborn into the same world as polar opposites essentially, right? So like one has white hair, one has black hair, their affinities are white and dark, and it has these contrasting elements, right? Because like one doesn't really care about killing, the other one is a lot more caring, and it all ties in together. So I like the duality of this novel, and it's interesting to say the least to see how the author plays off of that. Overall, I enjoy the progression aspects as well because they start off in this kind of like rural village and then it starts to expand and you start to see these broader kingdoms and empires that are interacting in the world and you really start to see the world building come together. And I have a lot of appreciation for that because it's hard to do. As an author, it's really hard to expand your world, especially when you start off in a very smaller a much smaller and much more specific setting. So I think he did a good job of building it out. I have a lot of hopes for this novel to see it continue on and hopefully end in a satisfactory way. I really hope it doesn't get tied into the stereotypical I'm going to drag this out for as long as possible by writing a bunch of filler chapters novels because that would be a little painful to read. But overall, I really like it. So far, it's on my list. I recommend it to you guys. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. And those three are all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for the support that I've had so far. We smashed through 100 subscribers, no problemo, which is amazing. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and I will see you guys next time.